Hello, 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 everyone. While we get you guys on here, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Jaclyn. Well, first, I guess I should introduce myself, just in case you don't know who I am, because that's a little arrogant of me. Like everybody knows me. No, they don't. I'm Kathy Ruiz Carter. I am the co-founder and executive director of the Lichen Sclerosis Support Network. And I want to introduce my fabulous, the yin to my yang, the person I could not do this without, Jaclyn Lanthier, who is our content creator. Uh, of our, you know what? You talk, Jaclyn, because
Sure. Also, I just want to give you a round of applause. We've been working together for so long, and I think this was your best pronunciation of my last name so far in like 4 years. You were so good. We're almost there. We've almost got you as like a francophone. You're so close. But yes, my name is Jaclyn, and I'm the Chief Research and Provider Relations Officer here at Lichen Sclerosis Support Network. I'm also the Secretary of the Board, and I am also a content creator for Lichen Sclerosis Support Network. So you may have seen my face in some of our YouTube videos. You've probably seen me on some of Kathy's podcasts. And then I do a lot of our blogs on our website. So that's pretty much my role here at LSSN. And I've been around for about 4 years now?
From the beginning.
Yeah.
We met in December 2025. So sorry, we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary.
There you go.
There we go. So as you guys are coming in, we are going to discuss how we break the cycle of misdiagnosis and mistreatment together. This is something that has been in the works for years, and we're so freaking excited to tell you all about it, to get your thoughts. But as we begin here, how about you guys let us know in the comments where you are, or if you don't want to, tell us where you are because privacy, drop a little globe in the comments, and because this is important. This is going to be really important to our discussion. Oh,
South Africa.
Woohoo!
All right.
Love that. Yes, this is so. As you can see, I am in the States. I'm currently in Florida, but I live in Pennsylvania. Jaclyn is in Canada. We've got Linda in South Africa. We are a global organization, and I think that doesn't get communicated enough. Atlanta, Georgia, they're coming in. United Kingdom, yes. So this is a global issue. We are a global organization. We are not just dealing with American issues. We are dealing with lichen sclerosis issues. It doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter. Again, California, we got people coming in from all over the globe, and we hear these stories over and over and over. And I don't think that there is one continent yet that has got it right. Do you agree, Jaclyn?
Absolutely agree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when we're talking about misdiagnosis, mistreatment, as an organization, like I said, we've heard the stories, and we started off with patient education. Lichen Sclerosis Support Network, Belgium, whoop whoop.
Yep, saw that.
we started Lichen Sclerosis Support Network on 3 pillars: patient education, provider education, and then research and advocacy. Those are our 3 pillars. And we started off strong with patient education. And you are probably here because you have found a piece of my content, Jaclyn's content. You found our website. You found our support groups. However it is that you found us is because we have invested the last 4 years into our patient initiative. And we have changed how people have access, education, and support for lichen sclerosis, which has led to better and better outcomes. And some of these testimonials that we have received, someone said, I learned more in 1 hour from LSSN than in 2 years from my doctor. Someone said, I was told it was yeast for 10 years. And then they found us and it was like, no, right? We help people feel like they had hope, that they weren't left alone. If any of these feel true to you, or you feel like LSSN has helped you, drop a heart, drop your story, drop a sentence or two how LSSN has helped you, just in case there's new people that maybe this is their first time on a live with us. Maybe this is their first interaction. Let them know there is hope. LSSN can help you change things around, right? And we're not done yet. Jaclyn can tell you these are issues that we have all thought about from the very beginning. And we are stepping into our next era, which is our provider education. Because now that we've given and we've empowered and we have helped the people, the patients, right? We've given them the education and the help and said, hey, here's the information, fight for the treatment you deserve. Now we're going to the head. We are going to the doctors, to the providers, because it's not fair that it takes 5 to 15 years to get a diagnosis. I'm living proof, 5 years. Jaclyn, how long it take for you?
It was a little over 10 years for my diagnosis.
There we go. And there's they estimate 3% of the female global population has lichen sclerosis, up to 3%. But we have maybe a 1% maybe diagnosed. That means there are millions and millions and millions of people who are waiting for a diagnosis, who don't know that they have LS. Y'all, drop me some hands up if the first time you heard the words lichen sclerosis was at your diagnosis. I got my hands up.
I was going to say, I can't do the emoji drop now, but
put your physical hands up. I got my hands up, man.
Absolutely. I thought I heard it all until she said, you have lichen sclerosis. And I was like, what on earth is this?
Exactly. And the other thing is, people travel hours to get proper LS care. And we're not, drop me, I don't know, what should we drop in the comments? Drop me a pointer finger. Point if you have to travel more than an hour to get quality LS care. Because one of the main issues is there are not enough providers that know how to diagnose, first off, and then treat lichen sclerosis properly. One of our biggest advocates, Dr. Jill Croft, she's been with us since before we started the organization. She was helping us to educate. And one of the things that I love one of her quotes is that medicine is a science. Treating lichen sclerosis is an art. You have to know the science, but you also have to know how to, use that science in a way that you're able to treat each one of your patients accordingly, because LS is very individualized. Yeah, 3 hours. Oh my God. Sorry. Again, not uncommon. But the thing is, we have to train the doctors, right? They did not get this education in school. We have to get it to them in some way that they're going to learn it, because we need them. There's such a provider desert where we're not getting we don't have enough doctors for all of the patients, the millions of people plus us who need a provider. We have a very big desert. Or some people have to travel literally out of their country to go and see a specialist. So this is Giving Tuesday. Today is Giving Tuesday. If you don't know what Giving Tuesday it is, this is the day of giving. This is the International Day of Giving, the global day of giving. And for Giving Tuesday, we have an ambitious goal of raising $14,000. And we're going to get more into it. But I just want to say, for this particular call, I have a goal of raising $1,000 from this call alone. So I'm going to drop the link in the comments, or you can go to make a donation. If you're on our donation page, you can watch from there as well. It's lssupportnetwork.org/GT2025 because we have the solution. And that solution is our provider continuous education program. And I want to tell you, actually, I'm going to let Jaclyn talk because I have been, hogging because I can't do that. Jaclyn is leading up our provider continuous education program. And I want to let her tell you all about the amazing work and what this program, how it's going to change people's lives.
Yeah, I just want to actually comment on the previous slide in the discussion that we were having first. As a Canadian, I see this issue through a particular lens, and I personally speak with a lot of folks in Canada, for instance, and many of them get to a point with me where they ask me point blank period, do I have to go to the States for care? And many, many, many times I tell them yes. And it breaks my heart to do this for a number of reasons. One, it's upsetting to me that my own country doesn't have enough specialists, doesn't have enough training and knowledge to be able to manage complex vulvovaginal cases, especially ones with lichen sclerosis and perhaps something else being involved. And the second reason why this is, hard for me to say is I know how much money that involves, right? If you're going to go from Canada to the United States, you are going to have to pay for your plane, your hotel. You'll probably need an Uber in there. You're going to need to eat while you're away. And you're going to have to pay the provider fee. It's going to be out of pocket. And we're going to have that lovely exchange rate that's going to bring that even higher. And it's so much money. And it's so hard for me to tell folks in Canada or folks over in Europe, international folks, yes, I do think, unfortunately, that your best course of action will be to travel to the United States. We simply do not have enough providers, period, in the United States, let alone specialists. There's just a gross lack of this. Those who can allegedly manage our cases of LS, such as a family doctor, they know basically such a rigid knowledge. They know, okay, when it comes to diagnosis, I'm looking for classic white patches. I'm probably going to be finding postmenopausal people, and they're going to be itchy. And that's kind of their main, diagnostic lens, right? And then when it comes to treatment, they know clobetasol. End of story. That's their diagnostic and that's their treatment. But as Kathy was alluding to before, when we talk about Dr. Kraft and science and art, there's so much more than this. Diagnosis is quite complex, and treatment can, for some folks, be quite complex. And so there's just this gross lack of providers and this gross lack of knowledge that we're seeing globally. Again, at the beginning of the chat, we're seeing South America. I mean, I did see a Canadian hi, by the way. I know you're Mexican. That's amazing. Belgium, right? We really see people from all over the globe. And when we do host our support meetings, we've got people all over the place. And lichen sclerosis deserves care. We deserve people that understand our condition and know how to manage our condition, especially when we don't maybe respond to treatment in that classic textbook way. And, you know, Kathy and I and everyone else at Lichen Sclerosis Support Network, we've seen this issue be pervasive for years now. And we've wanted to do something about it, but, you know, we have to move one step at a time. We're a small little organization. And, you know, we finally were like, that's it. This is the year. And so we launched our provider continuous education program, the PCEP for short. And this program is basically going to be a CME. For folks that are not familiar with that, that is a continuing education course that any practitioner could take. So this course will be open to healthcare providers around the globe. So not just the United States, clinicians in Canada, in Europe, in Africa, anywhere in the world can take this course, as it will be online, which is fantastic. And healthcare providers from a variety of backgrounds can also take this course. So family doctors or primary care physicians, as they're called in the States, nurse practitioners, pelvic floor PTs, gynecologists, dermatologists, physician assistants, really everybody that could potentially come across a vulva in an exam or complaints of vulvar issues in their clinic, they can take this course. And this course was really built with some incredible specialists. And I mean, we really do have an all-star lineup, like best of the best leading this. I was so thrilled to see Dr. Jaclyn, Dr. Andrew Goldstein, Dr. Melissa Moskar, Dr. Carolyn Klein, and then Dr. Mukta Chauhan. So we've got a dermatologist, our vulvar dermatologist expert, that would be Dr. Moskar. We've got Dr. Andrew Goldstein and Dr. Jaclyn, who are our vulvar experts extraordinaire. And then, because for us, we see lichen sclerosis as a holistic condition, meaning that multiple specialties should be involved. And that's where Dr. Mukta Chauhan is involved. She's a pelvic floor physical therapist. So she's going to lend a hand in that perspective in terms of building out the course. And then finally, we have Dr. Carolyn Klein, who is our sex therapist and psychologist, who's going to be helping build out that curriculum and really helping to educate providers, you know, in terms of how to manage the mental health components of lichen sclerosis and the sexual health components of lichen sclerosis. Because, you know, in my personal case, my mental health went complete plummet. Darkest moments of my days were kind of those few months after my lichen sclerosis diagnosis. And my sexual health was deeply impacted by this diagnosis. And these were two facets of my health that were never discussed in any of my LS appointments. No one ever really spoke about my sexual health, asked me about my sexual health. They certainly didn't have any answers or things to provide me with. And same thing for my mental health. All of these things I had to kind of seek out and build out on my own. But the onus should not be on the patient to have to say, hey, I'm going to go out and find this provider and I'm going to go out and do this. That information should be given to us at the onset. So that's really a big motivation behind this program. And this is also going to help with early detection and earlier diagnosis, which, if you remember from the previous slide, we have approximately 5 to 15 year gap from the onset of symptoms to diagnosis. For me, it was almost 10 years. I know folks for whom it took 20 years for them to get their diagnosis. And this is way too long for a multitude of reasons that I could go on about later if folks have questions. But this program really is going to help get that wait time down so that we're catching people early, because the earlier that this condition is caught, the better. There's less likelihood of things developing, losing anatomy, all of these things that we experience that can, you know, be mitigated if we catch things early. But a lot of doctors right now are not able to make that call and are not able to catch lichen sclerosis in its earlier phase. So part of our curriculum is built to catch that and get those numbers down so that we can get people diagnosed early and then get them on correct treatment, which is the kind of third pillar here of our PCEP program, is really educating doctors on treatment, right? there's so much more than just clobetasol. We at Lichen Sclerosis Support Network, we say this all of the time, right? You know, it's not just about clobetasol. You know, in the world of steroids alone, there's a big ladder of steroids, right? From ultra potent to weak steroids and everything in between. Sometimes dosing needs to be tweaked. Sometimes allergy testing is required. Sometimes compounding medication is necessary. Sometimes a stronger steroid is needed in the vulva, but a weaker steroid is involved in the perianal skin. There's a lot of, you know, options in that world. And then we also have, you know, topical calcineurin inhibitors, and those are our two main treatments that are approved. We've also got, you know, clinical trials. I think a lot of folks know that kind of in the pipeline, we potentially have JAK inhibitors as a non-steroidal option that may be coming onto the market. Well, we have to see, right? Trial results pending, but there's so much information built into this curriculum in terms of proper treatment, side effect monitoring, progression, all of these things. So that's really kind of at the heart of our program and why we created it. Kathy, I will let you.
That was coming back. I was just checking all of the donations coming in. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Hillary, Papa, Geraldine. If I missed you, I'm going to catch you in a little bit and shout you out, because you guys are the reason. I went back to this slide, and the reason we're doing this is because LS is not just physical.
Mhm.
It's life-changing. I mean, we lose our sense of self. We lose our sense of our femininity. We lose that security in that our body is our own, right? We're in control, right? And with that, you know, I know for me personally, when I got my diagnosis, I isolated. I pulled away because I was going to doctors. I was trying to find answers. And with every non-answer that, you know, every diagnosis that I was given that didn't work, I felt like, is this always going to be it? Right? Is this always going to be the life that I have? And if that's the case, then I'm just going to be over here by myself, right? And just not engage. It was a lot easier. I even stopped going to the doctor for 3 years because why waste the money and time? They would just disappoint me again. They couldn't figure it out. So why would I continue going? And so with the provider continuous education program, it's all about not just changing the physical, right? We want people to get diagnosed early. We want to reduce the chances of this turning into vulvar cancer. We want the reduction of these altering of the your anatomy, all of that. But we also want you not to go through the medical trauma. We also want you not to isolate. We also want you not to have this, impact your relationship. How do you think about yourself? Your femininity. You are sexy and wonderful, and I don't want this to be a reason that you no longer feel that way. Because it shouldn't be part of it. It doesn't have to be part of it. Every provider that I've talked to, and I don't know if it's the same for you, Jaclyn, one of the things they say is they love treating the specialists that I talk to.
Mhm.
They say they love treating lichen sclerosis. Number one, it's easy when it's caught early. And number two, it's life-changing. When they see the change, when they have their patients go from, pain and just constantly thinking of their vulva to now they're going about life, living their best life, and they barely ever think about their vulva. And that's what we don't want people to get to that point. We want people to, okay, this is something I have. I've got my support in LSSN. I've got a great provider who's going to, help me with this health journey. And I've got options. Because like Jaclyn was saying, it's not a one size fits all. It's never one size fits all that I found when it comes to LS. And we have to train these providers to not just think inside of this box, which we hear a lot. Oh, here's your steroid, but go about your day. Bye-bye. No, there are options. We're going to train them to talk to their patients about the patient's options. What fits your lifestyle? Okay, you don't want steroids? Fine. We've got other options. Let's discuss the pros and cons and make an informed decision for your body. And it is possible. It is absolutely possible. So we've got the provider continuous education program. This is a very expensive program. We are doing something that's never been done before, right? This is something that the medical community did not create. And it wasn't getting enough attention that we felt like we could wait for there to be, for them to create this. So we decided to tackle this. And last year, we fundraised to get it started, and we did. And it's amazing what we have done so far. So, Jaclyn, take a few minutes and just catch people up on what we were able to do this year, and then what we need to do next year to get this launched and in the hands of the providers that need it.
Yeah, absolutely. I, again, just want to go back and add a little bit to what you were just saying about the emotional toll. And, I'm reading the comments as they come in, and someone's saying, the impact of sexual health seems to have fallen between the cracks. And this is something that we acknowledge and see on a day-to-day basis. And this is why, this curriculum is not just developed by experts, but it's also been co-created in a sense by patients. And a big part of writing this curriculum was ensuring that the material was teaching providers how to be trauma informed and how to acknowledge and how to talk about sexual health and mental health issues, right? Because those are not easy conversations to have, but they are very real in terms of how many people are affected by these and how many people need those types of support. So I really just wanted to kind of also emphasize that trauma-informed curriculum building as these comments are coming in. So in terms of what we've been able to accomplish this year, we've actually accomplished an astronomical amount. I'm very, very pleasantly surprised and incredibly excited and proud of all the work that everybody has put in. So we have the initial draft of the curriculum, which is very long because it encompasses so many different domains, right? It's not just diagnosis and treatment. It really touches on so many different facets, again, including, the different facets of sexual health, how to assess for adhesions. What do we do? How do we treat adhesions? These are things like fusing and scarring when the skin sticks together. Where does pelvic floor physical therapy play a role? What about surgery? What about, again, potential treatments that are in the pipeline, such as, JAK inhibitors. So really, it's very, very long. It's very, very all-encompassing. Again, what was fantastic about this was it was initially, created by med students, and then our faculty, again, Dr. Andrew Goldstein, Dr. Jill Kraft, Carolyn Klein, Dr. Moskar, and Dr. Chauhan went over and really fine-tuned everything. But not only that, again, with Lichen Sclerosis Support Network, in all our efforts, a big piece for us is ensuring that the patient voice and patient experiences is reflected in the programs that we create. And so to make sure that that patient perspective was being well represented as we built out that curriculum, we also did have a town hall where we got a bunch of folks in the community, and we just kind of sat together, and different people would, share their stories and say, here's what I've experienced, and here's barriers to care that I see, and here's what I would like to see in this program. And so we really captured that patient voice and those barriers to care and incorporated that into the curriculum to really, again, ensure that, the patient experience is really well represented, right? Because sometimes it's far too easy to just write out a curriculum from that academic space, right? From here's the evidence, here's the published research, and bam, here we go. And that's great. But for us, that's not the end of it. Again, we really need to know, what do the patients need? What do the patients want, right? Our voice is so important in developing these types of materials. And so pretty much that's where we, got this year, but this is a very big program that we're building out. And so what we're kind of moving towards is we're hoping to launch this program in 2026. And what this is going to involve is then, building on those scripts, we are going to have our faculty create videos. So the course is going to be a kind of video kind of content, right? And so we are going to have, our physicians, they're going to do voiceovers, there's going to be diagrams, there's going to be images of lichen sclerosis, images of, different stages of surgery and healing for folks that need or required surgery. It's going to be very dynamic. We've got quizzes and all of these things built in to make sure that the course, again, is dynamic and that the clinician is able to kind of stay excited and awake throughout the course. And once we kind of launch that, our additional hope is that we can start kind of spreading the awareness about our PCEP at big conferences like the ISSVD, which for folks who are not familiar with that is the International Society for the Study of Vulvovaginal Disorders, and conferences like ISWISH, which again, for folks that are not familiar with that is the International Society for the Study of Women's Sexual Health. Nice, big, long words, but getting into those conferences, getting booths at those conferences so that, we can catch providers who are walking by and let them know about our course so that they can take it and they can increase their knowledge. I think somebody, I was reading in the comments, let me see, I need a provider like that, someone who's curious and enjoys the art of solving this hard puzzle. Exactly. We're hoping to create so much more of those to fill that gap that we see globally. So that's what we need your help for today. And all donations today will go towards funding the next few phases of this so that we could launch this as soon as we can, because this truly is going to be a life-changing program.
Absolutely. And I want to say, to add on to that, we did the math. So we did the math, and on a conservative basis, for every new provider that we train, they're going to help at least 48 new patients a year. That's 48 people for one provider. And it's probably going to be more. We were very conservative. But the difference is, imagine you have a provider who understands LS, who has a resource library, who has a community of other providers that they can go to and ask questions when they are having difficulty, who has this course to go back to and get refreshers, who's given resources to help them help you in the office. Imagine you have a provider with all of that behind them within 20 minutes of home. And they take insurance, right? How amazing would that be? You don't have to travel. You don't have to get a hotel. You don't have to get on a plane or drive hours to go see this person. You don't have to pay out of pocket. How amazing would that be? And not to even imagine the millions of people who are struggling with no diagnosis right now. So not only is it a win for you, but it's a win for them. And they don't even know that we are their champions. You are their champion. You are the one who's going to change their future. You are their superhero. When you donate to this campaign and allow us to be able to do this work and get it into the provider's hands, I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about the future. I want to be sitting in the same arena with you in a live 4 or 5 years from now and saying, you know what? We have, 500,000 new LS diagnosis made possible because of the PCEP, the Provider Continuous Education Program, because we are changing LS care. We've already done it in the last 4 years. We're going to explode it in the next 5 years. And I saw someone asking if will there be a version of these materials available for patients? We have 4 or 5 years of materials for patients on our website. There are hundreds of blogs and videos and resources already on our website. You don't got to wait, baby. lssupportnetwork.org. There's a magnifying glass there for you to help you search. Whatever you need, it is there. We've already created it. And so we're moving on now to the providers. So someone wants to know, will clinicians have to pay for the course as I know a gynae secretary? Yeah, so there is going to be a fee. So the way we're treating it is like a membership. There's going to be a membership where, as part of that membership, an annual membership, not only are they going to get access to the forum, they're going to get access to the course, they're going to get access to the resource library. They're also going to be on our provider directory. So we have a beautiful new provider directory that's coming out. I say it's like the Yelp for LS providers, because you're going to be able to leave reviews, you're going to see pictures, you're going to have bios, it's a whole thing. Okay, but they're going to have a premium listing on that provider directory, and all of that is going to come with their membership. They are going to have the option to only have the course, but yes, and the reason we're doing that is to make this program self-sustaining. We don't want to keep coming to our patient community so that we can keep running this. We need you guys to help us create this and fund it and get it, start getting it to the providers who need it. But we shouldn't have to keep paying for this. So that is how we're going to continue funding this program over the next years, and growing it, because this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. In the future, I see us doing provider trainings, just like we have live events for you guys. We're going to have live events for providers, right? There's so much that hasn't been studied, that it's really much a lot of like best practices of like, what does one specialist do that another specialist? So we need to bring them together so they can have these discussions, right? They need to share. And so this is my future. The future is bright, y'all. The future is bright. This year has been a struggle, I know, with women's healthcare funding, with just a lot going on globally, especially in the States. But the future is bright because we have organizations like LSSN fighting for us. We have people like myself and Jaclyn and all of the amazing volunteers and our board who, no matter what, they're not giving up. We got hit with so many unsuspected punches this year that I could have literally rolled over and been like, you know what? I'm not doing nothing extra. We just gonna do what we do, and we gonna keep it up until things get better. Hell no. That's not how I roll. Jaclyn will tell you, I do not give up, because I know this community is amazing, and this community always shows up for us, and I have no doubt that you will show up for us this Giving Tuesday, this giving season. We have an ambitious goal of $14,000, and again, the community has showed up. So I want to announce our match. We have an amazing match. a group of providers. Oh, I didn't show I forgot I'm not sharing my screen. Oh, let me share my screen because I'm talking to y'all about this. And I ain't sharing my screen. We have a group of providers and patients who have come together and have put together a $14,000 match, y'all. Every dollar that you give today is going to be doubled. You give 25. That means you gave 50. You give 100. That means you gave 200. You give 500. That means you gave 1,000. Okay. And if you're in the States or you have a state business that is tax deductible, but we understand that people don't give because of a tax deduction. They give because it's important. They give because we are changing the future. This is a story that should not be repeated. And so if the higher aboves, the people in power, the people who have the ability aren't going to change it, honey, you're going to have to join the movement and we're going to change it ourselves. This is like David and Goliath, okay? And we are going to sling and we are going to knock LS on its ass, okay? Because I'm done. I don't want to get another email from someone who's suffering from LS because they didn't get a diagnosis for half of their life. They've been struggling. And now they're dealing with, God forbid, VIN or vulvar cancer. It breaks my heart when I get emails like that because I know it didn't have to happen. It didn't. And even on the less extreme, people who email me from a doctor who is selling these snake oil treatments and saying, here, you need this treatment and it's out of pocket $500-600 and this person is still suffering. I don't want that to happen to anybody else. That is why I wake up every morning. That is why I do the work that I do. And I know that you don't want it to happen either. I see Sarah said, thank you, Sarah. She just made another donation. Yeah. Sarah, you are amazing. Woo! Thank you so much, Sarah. But I'm a giver. Jaclyn knows I hate to ask for something without giving something in return. And so we have something for you. Not only will our amazing providers and our amazing patients match your $14,000, we are also going to have an awesome Q&A session, an hour and a half, because an hour wasn't long enough, an hour and a half Q&A session with Heather Cohen, who is an amazing functional nutrition therapist. She listen, if you listen to the podcast, if you've come to our Holistic Healing Summit, if you've been on our website and gone to our diet page, you know who Heather Cohen is. Heather is an amazing nutrition therapist. She is looking at not just nutrition, but lifestyle. What are your environment look like? What's your stress, sleep? All of this together. How does that impact your LS, right? How does that impact your symptoms? Because like we said before, LS is not one size fits all. It's not just about your treatment. It's all about what else is going on around you. We know as a community, stress is the number one trigger. What is that doing to your body, right? So Heather is going to be there for an hour and a half for you to answer your questions. And then we're also going to have the amazing Christine Myers, who's also, also I forgot to say, Heather also has LS. She also beat vulvar cancer. So she has walked the walk and she knows exactly where you are, what you've gone through. And she's done the work to find out and study. And she's an amazing, amazing wealth of knowledge. And then Christine Myers, who is another one of my ride or dies. She has been with me since the beginning. She is also on LSSN's board. She's a founding member of LSSN. And she also got inspired to go to school and become a nutrition therapist. And she is she specializes in histamines. And she's also going to be there to answer questions about nutrition, about lifestyle. So once we reach that $14,000 goal, y'all are going to get this session, okay? And it's going to happen before the holidays. We're going to have that live session for you guys to have. And anyone who donates is going to get the replay. So you're going to also get to ask questions, but you're going to be able to pre-populate your questions. So you're going to get ahead of the ball. And that's for any donation, during this campaign. Anything you want to add, Jackie?
For this one, I will add that just Heather and Christine are a phenomenal wealth of knowledge. And every time I have had the pleasure of listening to them speak, I've learned so much. And I'm excited for us to unlock this session because, I think, again, it's going to be a fantastic, fantastic opportunity to learn more and really ask your questions to both Heather and Christine. Writing your questions in advance is also actually, I'm such a dork. I'm dorking out over that. I don't know if anyone's offered me that opportunity before. Please unlock it so I can give them 50 questions. No, I won't do that, I swear. But I am excited to unlock this because they're just phenomenal.
Yes. And I want to say, we just got this comment. Thank you for many reasons, one of which is my grandchildren are further on down the line, not going through what we went through. Amen. Absolutely. 110%. That is exactly why we're going to break the cycle of misdiagnosis and mistreatment. We're going to increase the radius of care. We're going to make this possible because we can do it. We are freaking phenomenal. This community is all of it. And I thank you. So we're gonna open up the chat for any questions, any last minute things you want to share, Jackie. I'm gonna go check and see if we have any new donations. I'm gonna drop the link one more time. Go in there, make your donation so we can shout you out. If not, you drop your donations after the live, and I'm still going to shout you out. I'm just not going to be able to shout you out live, but I'm still going to celebrate you. I'm still going to thank you. And let's see, any questions, or did I miss any questions that might have been in the chat previously?
So while we wait for some questions to come in, I want to just add, and I add this every year when Giving Tuesday comes up, right? Because if you have social media, any kind of social media, you probably have heard and are seeing things for Giving Tuesday. And I just want to remind folks that not everybody is in a place where they can donate financially, and that is okay. But there are other ways that you can still help us, right? One is just sharing this link with your, community, with your network, whomever that is, wherever they are. I know one thing, that I do every year is I share this on all of my personal social media. So not LSSN or the Lost Labia Chronicles, but I, write out a very personal thing and I share that on all of my personal social media. So sharing the link with others, letting folks know about us, letting your providers know about us. These are all extra ways that you can help support our mission, even if you're not in a place where you can donate financially, because we can absolutely appreciate that, not everybody is in that place. So just wanted to say that. And I wanted to thank everyone who has actually shown up for this live as well. again, that we have such a diverse group of folks with us, and I can't imagine, the different time zones for everyone. And I know this is nighttime for some people. It's at least almost 9 for folks in the UK. So thank you to everyone for showing up, despite how late or early it may be for you. Seeing more donations coming in and being shouted out. I missed the last one, but thank you, Lynette. Yes, amazing. And we have about 8 minutes left. So if people have any questions about the PCEP or our organization or anything like that, definitely drop them in the chat so that we can get those answered for you.
Sorry, I was grabbing the donations.
I was like, come on, girl.
From the other page. I want to say thank you, everyone. Listen, behind the scenes is craziness, y'all. It is craziness. I'm doing a lot of things. There was one, it's a pretty long comment, but while we wait, I wanna read this, and you can read it. It's on our donation page. Someone made an anonymous donation, so I don't know how much they donated, but I want to just shout out that we are at currently, and this is with our match, we are at 2,765. So thank you so much to everybody. But this donor, she says, I became proactive through your videos and knew my LS wasn't healing. So I went to an amazing gynecologist who did a biopsy. It came back with precancerous cells. A recent WLE due to precancerous cells. I have clear margins.
Amazing.
I am so thankful to my gynecologist and to you all with LSSN. I'm donating as I do not want my daughters and their friends to go through what I have gone through. Yes. See, this is the change. This is what I'm talking about. This is what an amazing provider can do in someone's life, right? How many doctors, how many years did she go before she met this doctor? And if it wasn't for all of our previous donors who through the years supported us to be able to create the amazing content that we have on our website, she wouldn't have known. She would have thought it was something else, or, who knows, right? And it could have went from precancerous to cancerous. So you are making a difference when you donate, when you give. Even again, $25 turns into $50, $100 to $200. Help us to get that extra money. This is our most ambitious goal ever. Ever. And I know that we can do it. Last year, we raised $10,000. This year, we're going a little bit higher, 14, because, that match is there. I want every penny of it. I do. Maybe I'm a little greedy. I don't know, but I'm greedy because I know what a difference it's going to make. One provider, 48 new patients. One of those could be you. So, okay, let's see. Could you talk about your support sessions and how those groups work? Yeah, absolutely. So we have free monthly virtual meetups. The next one is going to be January 10th, I believe, whatever the second Saturday is in January. And we have our free meetup, which is the first one of the month. And you come in, we have about 45-minute hour session of education. So we go through the basics of LS, and then we open the floor up to questions, to sharing. And we're there for 2 hours total. We do it 2 times on that Saturday so that people from different time zones can join, because we don't forget we are a global organization, like we proved in the beginning of this call. And so we do from 2 to 4 and 7 to 9 Eastern time. You can join us. You can join our email list at lssupportnetwork.org/connect. And you will get those reminders. They go out the Monday before the meetup, and then the Friday and the Saturday. You get your links. And then we have our second meetup of the month, which is for our private community, which is the LS Warriors. And that meetup is also 2 hours, same times. It's usually the second Saturday after our free meetup. But with that one, there's no education. It's all about connections. It's all about, sharing and asking questions and just being in community with other people who get it. And it really is, it's a family. And so that, again, is for our LS Warrior community. And that community is supported by our monthly and annual donors. Our monthly donors above $19.99 a month, and our annual donors $199 a year. So you can also join us there at lssupportnetwork.org/membership and get more details there. So, all right. Hope that answered that question. Oh, and it's private. They are not recorded. So we want everybody to feel free to share without any kind of, inhibition that this is going to leak out to anybody. You are very welcome. Yeah, one of our OGs, Jennifer, is in the chat. She said it's an amazing group. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Okay, so we have another question. Will the Yelp-like directory be available to patients too? I know there's a directory now, but it sounds like it will be revamped. Yes, we are working on that old directory. The one that's out now is going to be replaced by the Yelp-like directory. I'm telling y'all now, y'all, this has been a project that's been in the work for 3 years. The reason it has not been launched yet is because of time and money, resources. It's like we have to decide what's on fire, as Jaclyn likes to tell me, put out the big fires first and then, the little ones. But this is an important project, the provider directory. There's actually a version of it in beta. So there's still some bugs to work out, and it only has our US providers on there right now. But this is something we want to wholeheartedly put out and launch next year. And with this funding, we will be able to get that up and running and get that launched, because it's 100% for the patients. And it's a resource that we want to keep free. I know some organizations put their directories behind paywall. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep this as a free resource for any patient that is looking for a provider, and we want to make it international. We want to be able to have Canadian providers, and it's not just going to be like gynecologists and dermatologists. We're opening it up to pelvic floor physical therapists, mental health specialists. One of the kinks that we're working out is how do we add mental health specialists who are virtual, right? Right now, the directory is very much location based. So we're figuring out how can we make it so that when it's virtual, it still shows up on your search, because you search by your location, either your zip code, and you put a radius around it. So how do we make it so that these other providers who are virtual also show up? Again, one of the things that we're working on as it is in beta. But yes, great question. Thank you so much. We are at time, and I just want to say thank you. Anybody who has donated while I have been here. And real quick, somebody did ask if they're in the UK, so this is not going to help me, is it? Absolutely, it is. Any provider can take this. So it's all up to the provider, if they decide that they want to do it. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I just want to shout out, we are ending the call at 28:15. So far we've raised $2,815. It is only 4:00. We got tons of time. Let's do this. Share with your friends, share with your family. We're going to be putting out tons of social media posts, especially on Instagram. Just do the little reshare button thing they got now. It's literally one button. I don't know what it's called, but it's literally.
Oh yeah, with like the arrows.
Yeah, the little arrows. Hit that. Let it fly. Thank you so much. I am an email away. Thank you. Love you guys. And let's do this. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.